Greetings to you all, and a big welcome back to the school year for all of you. My name is Simon Higgins. I'm the Cambridge International Examinations Regional Manager for North Africa and Middle East, based here in Dubai. I've been in post now. I've been here for 6 months now in Dubai, but this is actually my 19th year with Cambridge. So what I lack in experience with the region, I hope that I make up for in experience with Cambridge. I've just spent the last 10 years working in New Zealand, my home country, looking after the New Zealand schools here, and it is very exciting to be here. And it really is a great pleasure to be standing here in front of you all. I'm grateful that many of you are able to be here at such a busy time of the year. I was talking to Sunita from Arab Unity before, and it's amazing how quickly the year just takes off. There's no quarantine period, is there? There's no warning. You're still in reasonable kind of holiday mood, and then here come the teachers and the students. It doesn't keep us young, we decided, but it certainly keeps us alive. I'm very grateful to those of you who have also travelled a considerable distance. Many of you are here from Dubai, of course. Others have travelled from around UAE, and we have some visitors who have come especially from Kuwait and Bahrain. So that's really exciting, and it's a great honour for us that you're willing to be here. Many of you will know very well my predecessor, William Bickerdike, very well. For those of you who are unaware and wondering why I'm up here instead of William, he's moved now to India to look after the South Asia region. I met with him in Cambridge just last week, and given that he knows many of you so well, he asked me to pass on his very best wishes for the school year. And I know that he misses the region very much, and he misses the schools, and we'll hopefully see him back from time to time. I always like to include in my presentations this little Cambridge mantra. I think it's important for Cambridge staff like myself to remember who we are and what our role is. Cambridge's philosophy, of course, is that we must never teach students what to think, but teach how to think. Not teach facts, but teach knowledge. While Cambridge provides the academic platform, it's your teachers and your students who must do all the hard work, meaning success gained is genuine and its recognition is well deserved. I hope you find today an enjoyable experience. I'm going to start with some updates from Cambridge, what's been happening over the last year or so. Some of them you will already know, but hopefully there will be something of interest for you. Following me is Dr. John Guy, formerly the principal of the UK's largest sixth form college and currently employed by Cambridge as an educational consultant. If I'm to associate a particular word with John, it is integrity. Cambridge values John highly, not only for his immense knowledge and experience, but because he has no problem telling us if he feels that our educational direction needs correcting, and he always seems to be right as well. So we listen very closely. I'm not expecting John's presentation to simply be an endorsement of Cambridge, but I am confident that you will leave today with a better understanding of the current UK A-level reforms and how they might affect your school, prepare your students for university. But importantly, despite any potential disruption they may cause, how you can get on with promoting the highest possible quality teaching and leadership within your school for the benefit of your students. Following John is Tariq Aoudi from Al Nada National School for Girls in Abu Dhabi, a great friend of Cambridge and a very experienced A-level chemistry teacher who will share some of his positive experiences. I am hoping that it will just be a complete endorsement, unashamed endorsement of Cambridge. So no pressure out there, Tariq. Then, of course, lunch will be served, and I hope you can all stay. I hope to speak to you all at some stage today, at some length, but if I don't get the time, then I would love to come and visit you at your school. That school visits that will always be the most enjoyable part of my job. So if you ever would like me to come and visit you, talk to your staff, talk to your students, hand out some awards, then I'm only too happy. I've no doubt that questions will arise during the day. I'll be very disappointed if there are no questions, but it would be more helpful, offer more flow, if they could be kept to the end of each session. You will have seen the camera at the back of the room. We are hoping to use some of today's footage as part of a short film for future use. I'm very grateful to a number of you who have agreed to appear on camera during lunch. For the others, I hope you don't find it intrusive or a deterrent to asking any questions at all. So thank you very much for coming. I'll get started now just talking about what's new from Cambridge, and then we will move on to John. So it seems strange to start a presentation called What's New from Cambridge to say that nothing's changed at all, but it's very important that I use this slide first and foremost. Many of you are aware of the A-level reforms that are currently going on in the UK and the desire for the UK curriculum to be less fragmented, if you like, and it's caused a lot of change with the UK examination boards, who I know some of you know very well. Well, we're very pleased. We're in a very fortunate position in that we are under no pressure to change whatsoever. Our approach has always been international. Our approach has always been as least fragmented as possible. While there are regulatory pressures on the UK boards now to only offer one examination session, for example, for the AS levels not to have a staged approach towards A-level, they have no bearing on us whatsoever. So there is no change, and it's very important to say that while we're under no pressure to change, we're partly under no pressure because the universities still recognise our A-levels very highly, and there is no change in recognition at all. We have offered a non-modular approach, if you like, since the inception of Cambridge International Examinations in 2001. And it is our firm belief that a less fragmented approach offers a more knowledgeable understanding of a subject and therefore better preparation for universities for your students. I know John will talk at more length about the UK A-level reforms. And I'm really keen to hear your feedback, actually, so hopefully there will be plenty of questions. Cambridge has done very well in the last year internationally. We now have more than 10,000 schools offering Cambridge around the world, every single part of the world, which is wonderful here, and entries have increased 15% as well. So the schools that are already offering Cambridge are realising its suitability for all types of students, not just the top students, in fact not just the middling students, but there's something there for all students. Significant growth has occurred in the United Kingdom. As you can see, we now have many schools in the UK, most of them offering the IGCSE. There's been I was going to say gradual, but it hasn't. It's been a very sharp move towards international IGCSE for many schools over the past few years. And we count some of the very best schools in the UK, Eton, Harrow, St Paul's, Winchester, as offering a wide range of Cambridge IGCSEs. So entries have increased a staggering amount. What we're also very pleased to find out is that now many schools are considering a move to Cambridge's international A-levels as well. Partly, mostly, for the reasons that I mentioned in my previous slide, that we aren't regulated by the government, yet we are still recognised by all universities as equivalent to UK-based A-levels. Also, a huge amount of growth in the United States. Now, many of your students are very interested in going to the United States for study. It's in the past, it's been a little bit of an obstacle explaining to higher education in the US exactly who we are. We've had a relatively low profile. Recently, 40 states have signed up to core common standards, so an agreed curricula, and we're very pleased to say that there's a very tidy match there between the core standards and the Cambridge standards. So we now have many schools, and not just schools, but entire school districts who are signing up for Cambridge, to offer Cambridge to a wide range of schools. In fact, just recently, the Miami-Dade district in Florida, which is the 4th largest district in the US, has registered 70 of their schools to offer Cambridge at IGCSE level and A level. So we're absolutely thrilled with that. Those entries there do not reflect the registration of Miami-Dade. Those students haven't sat yet, so we're expecting huge growth in the next few years as well. And also the Arab Emirates. We now have nearly 100 Cambridge schools here. There's some very nice steady growth, and entries have grown accordingly. So very good to see. Just a few things that you may not be aware of about what's new at Cambridge. We listen to our schools very closely, and I say that very honestly because you tell us very loudly what you need from us to help feedback to your students, to feedback to your teachers. And in the past, our provision of results has been quite basic, quite minimal. We've given you a grade per student, and we've broken it down by component level. It doesn't really give much indication within that information, really, of the success of the student. So in June, for the June examinations, for the August result released just recently, I hope that you found the new component scores showing how well the student did per component by a score level rather than an overall grade level, very helpful, not only for the students to understand how close they were to a grade threshold, but also to better inform your own teaching and to help your own teachers understand where they might need to work a bit harder, and also, of course, where they're doing very well. A lot of schools tell me that they would like to receive their answer scripts back, and it's completely understandable. Because we have more than 1 million answer scripts per examination series, trying to get them back to all schools within a certain amount of time is going to cause a logistical nightmare and probably become our biggest overhead, meaning that prices are likely to go up. We want to keep the fees as low as possible. So something that might have gone under the radar for many of you is that now if you undertake a result inquiry at the lowest possible level, which is a recheck, a simple count back of the marks, there is the option to receive the answer script back. And I really encourage this. It's extremely good professional development for your own teachers to see a student's grade alongside the answer script. Previously, you could only get the answer scripts back if you requested a quite expensive as well report. So I just want to make sure that everybody is aware that a simple clerical recheck will allow you the return of an answer paper per component. We have a new training registration website, which requires schools now to approve teacher attendance. In the past, teachers have shown a great deal of initiative by registering themselves for training, which is admirable, but then we've had some calls from schools saying that they didn't actually have the reserves to fund such a thing. So now a teacher can register to undertake training, face-to-face training, online training, but the approval then needs to come from the school, which I'm hoping is going to provide much less confusion for you. There is the option for teachers to register themselves for training. However, they've got to pay up front, which I'm sure that you'll all be very pleased about. One request from us really is, email is so important these days. We do most of our communication by email in a business environment. There is always going to be a turnover of staff, and one thing that we're finding is that teachers are using generic logons, Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo, etc., as their login and password. And then we're continuing to send information to these teachers once they have left the school. We've had a couple of cases with regards to finance, for example, where the person in charge of finance left the school or was off ill. We only had their personal email address. We sent invoices to the school. The invoices weren't paid, of course, and the results were delayed. So it'd be nice, it'd be helpful for us, but I think it would also be very, very helpful for you if you brought in some of your own generic email addresses, finance at your school domain, examination officer, etc., so that some of your staff are not taking information with them, either spuriously or not. It seems strange to also talk about having a new chief executive at the bottom of the slide. Many companies, I suppose, would have this at the very top. We do have a new chief executive, Michael O'Sullivan, very experienced with both the British Council for 12 years in China and also with the Cambridge Commonwealth Trust, travelling the world, talking to schools about offering scholarships to their students for Cambridge. He's a very exciting person. I hope that you all get the chance to meet him. He certainly has a lot of drive and a lot of flair and a lot of ideas, but at the same time it's very important to say that at the same time it's business as usual. A new person at the top does not change our approach to education and our desire to support schools as much as possible. You may have also noticed that we have a new name. Now, we are now called simply Cambridge International Examinations. We're no longer called University of Cambridge International Examinations. Now, this is not because we have changed our relationship with the university. We are still a department of the University of Cambridge, and we are very fortunate to have the university to rely on much research and evaluation that we do. But what we were finding was that the name University of Cambridge International Examinations was just too long for people to even say. So we've decided to shorten it, but I really want to emphasise that this has not changed our relationship with the university at all. And with the new name, we have a lovely new set of marketing resources for you that we're very keen for you to use in your marketing, whether it be on your websites, in your brochures. So if anybody needs the new logos, then please do not hesitate to contact us as soon as possible. Some new teacher support as well. We've got some new textbooks. We're always having new textbooks available from our major publishing partners. And you will be very familiar, I'm sure, with Cambridge University Press, Oxford University Press, and Hodder, who are all here today. They've all bought some endorsed textbooks with them from a variety of ages, right through from primary right up to A-level. These endorsed textbooks have been written with our syllabus, with our content very much in mind, so they are really there to help your teachers as much as possible. And I recommend that you go and have a look and see what is currently available and also what is coming up. We also have exemplar answer booklets. Now we've had these for a year now, so they're not very new, but at the same time we have hidden them a little bit on the teacher support side. In the same way that we have been reluctant in the past to return answer scripts, answer papers, just for the sheer price, we've now made actual answers at A-level, at IGCSE available with the grades on them, so that teachers can get a better understanding about what depth, what understanding it takes to get the highest grades, the middle grades, and not so high grades. So I have got a few copies here with me for A-level, a few hard copies with me. So if you're interested in getting some copies, then please come and see me at lunchtime. I think I've already talked about the new training registration website. So we're also encouraging teachers to become examiners for us. In the past, an examiner was required to be based in the UK, was required to attend a coordination meeting with all of the other examiners and with the principal examiners. Now, given the advances in technology, we are now able to send some answer scripts to examiners electronically, which really opens up the way for overseas examiners to get involved. And the reason I talk about it with regard to teacher support is that the teachers who have been involved with this have found it very good professional development themselves, to be part of the actual marking process. They're not marking mock scripts. Their marks they're marking real marks using the live mark scheme. So I think it's an exceptional way to understand Cambridge's requirements when it comes to what works well for students in an examination and what doesn't. The only requirement at the moment is that teachers must have a UK bank account, and that's for tax reasons at the moment. But we are investigating ways of getting around that, and hopefully very soon all teachers around the world will be able to be part of our marking teams. We have we've always been reluctant about forcing ourselves too much upon teachers. I remember being at a training session in New Zealand, and New Zealanders can be a little bit sensitive at times. And we had an examiner come over, a trainer come over for IGCSE maths, and his first slide said, how to teach. And New Zealanders showed their sensitive side, and half of them walked out really, they felt very offended. But we are keen to help you with pedagogical ideas where you want them and where you feel that they will help and where they can become recommendations. We're, of course, very happy for you to use them. Now, John will talk more about this in his presentation, but it's just an advance warning to say that we do now have something on the website. I hope you've been able to see it already. If not, have a look for it, and we can show it to you. Events coming up. Cambridge training is very important to us. It's very important that teachers feel engaged with Cambridge, that they understand that they can get the best possible feedback when it comes to teaching this subject. We have face-to-face training coming up very shortly, actually, and it would be wonderful to see as many of you there as possible, A-level and primary. The primary is in all three subjects. The A-levels subjects are in two of the sciences, business studies and ICT. There's more information on the website. Then come next year, 21st and 22nd of March, again in Dubai, we'll have 8 subjects covering A-level and IGCSE, and again, more information available on our websites. We also have online training as well, and a very interesting one is the Ask the Examiner, where teachers can go online and talk to the people who actually marked your students' papers. So you can get direct feedback, maybe not about a particular student, but you will be able to get a general idea of what the examiner was looking for, of what Cambridge was looking for in the past session. Now, we've included a flyer, a brochure in your packs, and there's a quite nice discount in there for your teachers and the code there, and I really encourage them to make the most of it. It's across 19 subjects at IGCSE and A-level. Come mid-December, we'll have some webinars, some live webinars. We're not looking to replace the face-to-face training whatsoever, but we are looking to make it more cost-effective for us so we can keep our fees as low as possible, and also to introduce new technology. So the webinars are live. They're not all day. We understand that your teachers will not be able to sit in front of a laptop all day. So they'll be in about 2 or 3 hour blocks and hopefully be as interactive for your teachers as possible. So that's in 8 subjects, including all 3 of the secondary 1 subjects, English, Maths and Science. And then introductory courses for new teachers as well, coming in IGCSE and A-level subjects across 20 subjects at IGCSE and A-level. Have a look on our events website. I hope there's something there for you. We've had some difficulty recently in communicating all of our updates to teachers, and some of our teachers find it difficult to learn about changes in the curriculum. And of course, learning about changes in a syllabus that is coming up is absolutely essential for your teachers. There will always be one teacher out there, and they always seem to call me in a panic right before the exam session and tell me that they've been teaching last year's syllabus, last year's textbooks, last year's English books. We do whatever we can to help these teachers. We do whatever we can to make sure the students are not penalised, but it's important that we don't get in that position in the first place. So we will have a What's New section on our website that teachers can sign up to on a subject-by-subject basis. So a teacher can sign up, and I'm going to use combined science as an example because there have been some changes to combined science that some teachers just weren't aware of, unfortunately, and it really did catch them by surprise. So whenever there's a change to the syllabus coming up, whether we're designing a new syllabus per subject or redeveloping an existing syllabus, there will be plenty of indication, plenty of forewarning for your teachers. I was hoping to show you the new page, but I just had a call from Cambridge just last night saying, whatever you do, don't direct them to the new Cambridge page because it's not quite there, but hopefully it will be there by the end of the week. So simply the website /new. We will continue to be putting out our syllabus updates for Cambridge schools, which will feature as much in advance as possible minor revisions to current syllabuses and advance notice of qualification withdrawals, subject withdrawals, that should say. So we do have some new subjects. Some were examined for the first time in 2014, and I consider them new because they've just so recently come out of the pilot stage. And for those of you wondering, I'm very pleased to say that 2 of our English examinations, English-based, so world literature and the full A-level now for English language is now available. For examination in 2015, so able to be taught presently, is IGCSE Urdu as a second language and Chinese as a second language as well. For both subjects, we've had Chinese, the subject first language, so for fluent speakers, and also as a foreign language for completely new students to the subject. So now we have these 2, so second language papers, as you know, are for students who are familiar with the subject already. And we also have international AS and A-level media studies, which is very exciting indeed. I'm hoping that there will be a huge uptake on that. All syllabuses are available on our website. So just talking very briefly about the world literature. It's the same, only different, really, to our current English literature, and that there is the study of prose, poetry, and drama, but it is far more flexible. Many teachers will come to me about our English literature syllabus, and they'll say exactly the same thing to me in 2 different ways. They'll say, "It's so traditional." And then others will come and say, "Oh, it's so traditional." So this is a way to make it far more flexible for you to choose texts. It's not as heavy on the examination base. So there is a significant coursework element there, but it's not just written coursework, there is an oral component as well, which I think is very exciting. There are also the usual unseen examinations in the unseen and set texts. So we've just had the first examination. Many of the choices of texts have been exciting. There's a far more There's a wider range of text available now. There are texts in translation that you can choose as well. Just talk about also the new full A-level for the English language. So very much a continuation of the AS level. So we are studying different forms of English, of course, spoken, digital and printed. And very similar to the AS level, we are developing skills in analysis, creative writing, and the use of appropriate styles and registers. And of course, how language is used, which is becoming more and more topical. So that was also examined for the first time in 2014. If there was anybody here who offered it, I'll be very, very interested in hearing your feedback, of course. A brand new subject is the media studies, and it's a very practical approach to the media studies. So the critical understanding is there, but we're really looking for students to not only prove their understanding by written examinations, but also by a very strong coursework element, including, for example, producing titles and openings for a film, designing their own print magazines, developing websites as well. I think this is going to be hugely successful, and I look forward to hearing from anybody who is interested. I love talking about global perspectives, and I spoke to Wasim, who many of you know, and I said, Wasim, can I include global perspectives? He said, well, no, because it's not really new, is it? But I've decided to put it in there anyway. I think it represents everything really, really good about Cambridge. It's very modern, it's a very modern approach. It's there to really engage students. It's there to develop critical thinking, research, and essay writing skills. And the cross-curricular approach really improves the students' understanding not only of that particular subject, but of all subjects. And it's been very interesting talking to teachers who have taught global perspectives, and they've noticed a significant improvement in the awareness and grades in other subjects. So don't just think of it as a social studies kind of course that looks at current affairs, but look at it as really engaging students in current affairs and asking them to be very forward in their discussions. And the assessment's very interesting because we're asking students to write quite lengthy essays at that age group as well. And the feedback that I've had is that many students gasp a little bit at the idea of writing essays of 2,500 words. But of course, once they get started, you can't stop them. So I'm very interested again to hear if anybody here has been offering the global perspectives. Here are some examples of the research projects that have been undertaken by individual students. I meet some parents who come up to me completely shocked and tell them about their son who would sit there at the dinner table mumbling about football and now wants to talk about water shortages and food shortages across the Middle East and Africa. So it's really getting into the psyche of these students. So some really classic ideas here. These are from students who are based in the UAE, many of them in Dubai, who have submitted these projects. So food shortages in Africa, diabetes in the UAE, the effects of deforestation in the Amazon, technological development on economic development, human trafficking and prostitution, and free trade. So some really in-depth studies there that are encouraging students to think about topics as widely as possible. And the reason that I could put it into a what's new from Cambridge is that there's an exciting learning platform coming specifically for global perspectives, students and teachers, where you can communicate with other students who are studying the subjects, looking at the same topics as they are, and just getting a different sense about their perspective, their local perspective, their national perspective on different topics. So that is coming very soon. And again, that should be very exciting. And then finally, we have a brand new website coming. I say coming, again, it should be with us in a couple of weeks. If you go onto our old website, it's the same web address. There is the opportunity for you to look at the new site. The new site is far more compatible for phones, for tablets as well. And there are some new features as well. There's a more easily manageable recognitions database where you can look up any university around the world that recognises our qualifications and see what the requirements are, but also get contact details for that university so you can ask them yourself about particular cases. There's also a Find a School. We've been reluctant really to publish our schools too widely, and now you can find a school by district. So if you were to type in the name of a city, you'd be able to see the schools nearby. It continues to be a resource centre. It continues to hold all of our syllabuses. It still holds all of our sample question papers, mark schemes. So if you're looking at a new subject, it's a very good place to go to. And a marketing resource as well. There's plenty of information on there for you to use when talking to your community. And very soon as well, there'll be a dedicated page for Arabic speakers too. So much of our website will be translated into Arabic. I know that Wasim has had a really fun time doing some proofreading on that, so he's especially pleased. Thank you very much for your time. I'm not going to stay up here for much longer because I'm really keen on hearing what John has to say, but also I'm very keen on you hearing what to say. Now, are there any quick questions at all about what's new? Hi, down there.
Wonderful news about all these new exciting courses. However, in the context of Abu Dhabi or Dubai, I wonder about the recognition. I think you've heard of this wonderful
21.
list of 21.
Is it 21?
What is Cambridge International Exams doing about that?
We are talking to the ministries at the moment. One of the issues is, and I'm quite new to this, but I've already had a meeting with the ministry, is that currently there is a set list of 21 subjects, 21 IGCSE subjects that the ministry says that they recognise. Now, it's going back a few years now, so some of these new subjects are not officially recognised. However, we have spoken to them and we have said, and they have agreed at the meeting that because all of our IGCSE subjects are written to the same standards and the same depth, that all of our IGCSEs will be recognised. It's just a matter of getting it in writing from them. Now, we have a huge supporter at the ministry, Dr. Ali, and I'm hoping that this will come from him very soon, and we'll let you know. I think I said this to you last time, but we're still working on it. Yeah. Anyone else?
Can I just take you back to your first point about no change?
Yes.
Because the latest guidance on A-levels from Ofqual in the UK say very much that they support Michael Gove's move to
Yes.
make all A-levels linear.
Yes.
And also then decouple AS.
Yes.
And have it as a standalone qualification rather than a stepping stone.
That's right.
Yeah. How are Cambridge actually positioning themselves with that?
Well, of course, we're very conscious that we have to map ourselves as much as possible structure-wise to what's happening in the UK. However, we are not bound by UK regulations. And as long as the universities say that we're very happy with the AS level plus A2 equals A level over a 2-year program, then we'll continue to offer it. If the universities ever turned round and said to us, well, actually, we want you to follow the UK requirements, then we would do so. So what we're able to offer is not only the flexibility of offering the AS level plus A2 equals A level over 2 years, because we're able to retain those 2 examination series, one in June and one in November, it means that there is the opportunity for resit to work towards that A level. Now, we're very careful in what we say to schools, and we need to be as transparent as possible. So I spoke to Cambridge just last week and I said, look, is there any change? I'm going to be speaking to some very important people next week. And they said, no, no change whatsoever. So the universities, like what we're doing, we have to keep pace to a certain extent with what's going on in the UK, but we're not required to meet the UK requirements under any means.
So just to clarify on that, I mean, in your brochure it says some subjects can be started as AS level and extended to international A level.
Yes.
That would imply that not all of them.
Some subjects are only AS level. They stop at A level. English language previously stopped at AS level. We didn't think it was a requirement for university study to go on to the full A level. Many of our languages will only stop at AS level. But
You're talking about ones that terminate, not ones that are changing policy.
that's right. Now, John will be speaking more about the reforms, and then, as I said previously, he'll go into some ideas about that, despite any disruption that may occur, how to encourage quality teaching and learning and leadership within your school. So I shall hand over to John now. Thank you very much for your time. I'll be around, of course.